If you haven't seen it, I just released the trailer for my latest short film, Ballistic, which is what we're breaking down today. So if you haven't seen it, click on the thingy that will probably pop up over there, or look in the notes to find the link there. Go ahead, I'll wait. You'll like it, it's not even long. It's just right click, open new tab, there you go.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a computer analyst.
So now that we've all seen it, today I wanted to break down my personal process for creating a trailer, which is one of my favorite things to do, just distilling the project down into these short pieces that relay the tone and lets the audience know what they'll be in for it and hopefully get them excited about it without giving anything important away. It's really fun and challenging, especially with a short film, since there's a lot less to work with. First up for me is music. Hunting down the right sound and flow is really tough. This is going to drive everything, and it always takes me the longest by far. So for this one, I found a great track on Audio Jungle, which is such an amazing site for quick single tracks that don't cost $1 billion. So after almost a week of searching, I finally found this track that was really perfect for the movement I was looking for and for the tone, so hardest part down. Next, I grabbed a few moments that for me carry the theme or emotion of the film. So this bit of dialogue that you hear in the beginning to kick us all off.
Dave, wake up. Baby, I need you to look at me. There's a man in the house. We gotta get up and we're gonna go to the bunker.
Which we added some reverb to give it sort of a dreamy feel. Then with that placed in, I grabbed some visuals that enforce what I'm hearing. And of course, I want to start with an image that grabs you, one that also sets the stage. So this shot of Hannah crawling worked perfect to pique interest, add mystery, and enforce the get up line of dialogue that's happening.
Dave, wake up.
Next, we move to these 3 images before returning to Hannah, each selected to enforce the dialogue while pushing the mystery of it all, building subtle and interesting questions. So we go to the flashlight where we don't see the man yet, then to someone that we assume is our hero thanks to the dialogue that we're hearing. Then on the dialogue of there's a man in the house, we hard cut to the man that we couldn't see before. After that, we return to our character on the ground when we hear that final bit of dialogue that says get up, which takes us to the titles.
We gotta get up and we're gonna go to the bunker. Get up.
The idea here, again, is to build a story in your head and interesting questions about who and what, even if subconsciously. Then after a breather and a build of text, we go into a few fast cuts, which again are there to push the tone of the film that you'll eventually see. But that slams us into what I think of as Act 2. Which I'm usually thinking of trailers in an Act 1, 2, and 3 sort of way. I don't really think of my actual films that way, but I do find it helpful for trailers. Of course, you could just say beginning, middle, and end if the act word makes you cringe. So Act 1 of this trailer would be our open with the mystery and tension build with the dialogue, setting the stage of where these characters are and will be and what danger they might be in. Then Act 2 comes with all the exciting stuff. This is the action beats that will hopefully get you jacked up to see the thing. Again, mixed in with a few pieces of dialogue that clue into what's coming. But without giving anything away. These moments of dialogue also help to break up the music, keeping everything flowing, fresh, and exciting. So to do this section, I again went and pulled selects, which is all the moments that I think will work in this piece. So now I have a timeline open of all these clips that I can start placing in. It's a bit like a puzzle, finding what piece goes where. With all of this, I'm thinking about flow. What do I want my audience to feel in this moment? How can I best build them to the next? What do I want to stick out in their minds or just be icing? And honestly, for me, a lot of this comes down to feeling. Something feels right or it feels wrong. So a lot of this section is just going off my gut. And that goes for pace here too. Of course, the overall pace is dictated by the music, but I'm not cutting on every single hit. And this is based on feel for me too. You don't want it to feel like madness. So it's a matter of building the tension of how often you cut, with quicker cuts being held until that last moment. So all of this is escalating to the moment that I see as Act 3, which is that big explosion. That's our big climactic shot. Then we slam everything down into our title and end with our final shot that again clues to theme and tone. But now that I have a solid cut together, I'll send my titles off to Ryan Thompson for him to make them all sexy and whatnot, which the other Ryan, which I will refer to now as Thompson from this day forward, will eventually do a tutorial post on our blog of how he did those titles. So, you know, subscribe to our mailing list.
This is Hurrying Harry. He doesn't look where he's going. He knows the stairs are there without seeing them. Oh, my mistake. Somebody must have moved one.
Domain.com has all your website needs, including .com and .net domain names and intuitive website builders. Take the first steps in creating an identity online. Domain.com is affordable, reliable, and has the tools that you need to build a website so you can start sharing your ideas with the world on a professional website. No domain extension is going to help you tell your story like a .com or .net domain name. And if you want to brand yourself online, Domain.com has over 300 domain name extensions to fit your needs from .club to .space. Of course, they're giving you 15% off. They're already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at Domain.com's checkout, and when you think domain names, think Domain.com.
Logo.
So we have our cut locked and our sexy titles in, so now it's just a matter of sweetening. First, I'll do a temp color pass using Red Giant's Magic Bullet Looks. In here, I can add a LUT to get things started. So since we shot this, Canon Log 3, one that has been working really well for us, is the Alexa default log to Rec 709. That's a great starter, so I can start tweaking to find a good look that's at least in the ballpark of what I'm hoping for that I can now send to my colorist Asa. And Magic Bullet Looks is crazy powerful and completely capable of finishing the grade on this trailer, but I have a colorist helping out on this one that has way more skill than I do in this area, so I'll do my best here so I can have an example grade to send him, and then of course a version without any grade at all. Now while I wait for him to complete that, I'll tweak my audio. The main thing here is creating room in the mix for the dialogue. Some of it, like at the beginning, I didn't want over top of everything else. I wanted it to be sort of hard to hear, as if eavesdropping on someone in the other room. But for the lines at the end, I did want that on top of the mix. You could always do this by auto ducking, but I did it manually in Premiere just by creating keyframes in the audio. So on the music track, I created my keyframe for the music. When the line happens, I pull it down and then bring it right back up when the dialogue ends. Then once I get my final color back, I can plug that in, and for this one, I wanted to add a little extra style. So for some of the quick action moments, since you aren't getting a lot of time to look at it, I wanted to add something stylistic that will pull you into the moment. So I went into Red Giant's Universe plugins, which, if you don't know, Universe is a subscription service that gives you a ton of their best plugins and all the new ones and updates that are always coming out. But I'll grab the Chromatic Aberration plugin, which might be my favorite in the Universe set. Then I'll add that to an adjustment layer to add over specific clips and tweak the parameters to tone it down a bunch. I want to feel it more than see it, so I'll tweak the master distortion and scale and the individual colors, just sort of moving things around until I get the look that I want. And when I'm done, if I flick this on and off, you can see that though subtle, it is doing a lot. With it on, it's drawing you into the center, focusing in more on the action, which is even more obvious on the final explosion shot. But now with everything in and graded, we have our final trailer. And that's it, my approach at creating a trailer. If you want to check out the trailer again and our poster and a bunch of BTS that we already have out for Ballistic so far, you can find that in the blog section of our new website. Link for that below. And while you're on our website, make sure you jump over to the podcast page and check out our latest podcast with the editor of John Wick. And so far, we've launched a new podcast, a new website, the poster and trailer for Ballistic all this month, and there's a lot more on the way, so make sure you sign up for our mailing list so you don't miss any of those goodies. Links to that and everything else we talked about below, and I'll see you next time when I take over a large government building to clear my name.